All right. Welcome to Real Estate Hustlers Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Appelman, founder and CEO of Equity Group and Appelman Properties. Today, we're joined with Eric Chetterdon. Eric excels in multifamily property investments, managing 153 million in assets and 1,300 plus units. A best-selling author and industry expert, shares his insights through educational programs and workshops, and is eagerly connecting with other fellow operators. Eric, we appreciate you taking the time to come on and share with us today. If you could just let everyone out there know a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Yeah, Josh, thanks for having me. Excited to be here. Just, pour whatever value I can into the audience. But yeah, I'll tell a little bit about me and kind of start. So guys, once again, my name is Eric Chatterton. I'm with Gibby's Capital Investments. I'm one of the co-founders and managing partners for them. Founded the company back in 2020, and we've just kind of been off to the races since then. But yeah, I kind of grew up in and around real estate. My parents, they had both single family and multifamily homes. They had probably 10 to 12 single family and then 2 small multifamily buildings as well. I always saw that they were succeeding and killing it, but I saw a single flaw in the way that they were doing it. And it's because they were self-managing everything. They self-managed all their single families and both the multifamily buildings as well, which is a 26 unit and a 42. And so that kept them, it just kept them really, really busy. And as much success as they saw, my parents are in their 60s and I was just seeing them work 15, 16-hour days. And, it was just killing me seeing them work so hard. I knew there was a better way. And that's when I sought out multifamily and syndication. And so I knew I wanted to show them that there was a better way to do it. So I went and jumped into a education program, a mastermind group called the Multifamily Mindset with Tyler Devereaux and Ryan Woolley. So shout out to those guys. They taught me a ton about this business and, helped open doors for me to get me where I am today. And I think it's just crucial, starting out, there's a lot of unknowns. These are, unknown waters. You don't know if you'll succeed. You don't know when that first deal will come. But I can tell you guys this that are listening, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And if you just keep pushing, I am a firm believer that the only time you lose in this business is if you quit. And if you just keep surrounding yourself with people that do this business and actively do it and do it at a high level, eventually the deals will come or relationships will be made that can open doors for you to, potentially get in your first deal. And, it took me 7 months to get my very first deal from the point I jumped in. And so it wasn't an easy road. So if, some of you guys have started, your journey and it's been 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, I promise, just don't give up, keep pushing and force yourself to stay involved in this business because it can be truly life-changing. It's changed my life a ton. And, like I said, it took 7 months to get my first deal. My first deal was a 224 unit multifamily building in Fort Worth, Texas. I learned a ton from it. I was a small percent owner in that deal, but I was with a sponsor team that taught me a ton. And from that first deal, they say there's a law of the first deal, right? Once you get the first one, there's credibility with brokers, investors, lenders, all the above. So, and that couldn't have been, more accurate for me. So once we got on our first deal closed, kid you not, 10 days later, we got an LOI accepted on our second deal, which was another 144 units in Houston.
That's incredible. So you found the first deal. What got your place at the seat of the table for that first deal? Because you surround yourself with people that have already been there, done it. What did you add value to in that transaction?
Yeah, and I love that you said that, Josh, because when I first started, it takes time to build your foundation of your own company when you're starting. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of pieces of the business. And so I kind of shifted my focus from, building my own program from the ground up to just trying to find a way to add value to other people. And that's exactly what you just asked is what value did you add? And so on that specific deal, there was a couple points of value that I brought to the table on that one. And so the first one was the operators on that deal, they had a $2.5 million investor back out about a week before closing. Wow. And so they had a gap and they had already used extensions. It was kind of a crunch time. And thankfully I had already been raising capital from family, friends, coworkers, other business professionals that I knew. And so I had about 3 million of soft commitments, just kind of waiting that I had built credibility and trust with over the first 7 months. And I didn't just, have them on deck. I was actually nourishing those relationships throughout the entire first 7 months because, I wanted them ready to go when I did have an opportunity. And working with a more experienced team, it gave me a lot of peace of mind. I didn't still quite know everything I was doing on that first deal. I came in literally last minute and I was able to fill that $2.5 million void within that week. And that's what got my foot in the door. And then also the deal was in Dallas, Tech or Fort Worth. I lived in Dallas at the time. And so the operators on it, they lived in Maui and Orlando. So I was also another point of boots on the ground for them locally. And, I wasn't technically the asset manager, but all I wanted to do was add value. So I offered all my help that I could for free. Hey, don't pay me, don't compensate me. I just want to get knowledge and exposure in the business. And so just put me to work, man. Honestly, just put me to work so I can get some experience. And they did. And so I learned a lot about even the asset management side of that business. I was going to the property a couple times a week, and just to get as much exposure as they could. And that right there, because I was willing to add value, and they tried to compensate me. They did. And I told them, no, I just want to add some value to you and help out your business. And that one deal led to doing 4 more deals with them.
Nice.
And so, yeah.
That kind of goes to the segue where when you're starting out, you feel like you need to do everything, excuse me, on your own. You need to find a property, you need to get the debt on the property, you need to come up with the equity, the down payment. With doing these large deals, a lot of people starting out, they don't understand. I guess they haven't discovered yet that it's a team effort. You have a team that pulls together to get these large deals taken down, and it's a concept of own a little of a lot. Can you go into the importance of partnership and those relationships to bring a deal to the closing table?
Yeah, absolutely. Because partnerships have been what would have gotten us to where we are today. We now can sponsor deals for ourselves on our last 2. Like you mentioned in the introduction, we've now closed on 8 properties, 1,328 units, and a little over 153 million of assets under management. But we have another one, a 9th one under contract right now, another 102 units in Houston. So our 8th and 9th deal are the first 2 that we're sponsoring completely, doing A to Z just with our own team. Nice. So what that means is the first 7 deals that we did, we partnered up with different groups to tackle them. And especially with the larger ones, the 100 plus, 75 plus, sometimes those are heavy lifts as far as the capital raise goes, acquisitions process, a lot of moving parts. So, I really focused on relationships. I think it's so much of a relationship business versus even a real estate business. Obviously the knowledge of the real estate and multifamily is key, but really relationships of what has opened a lot of doors for me. And I really have I propelled myself in a certain direction because I was willing to take haircuts on our percentages to gain experience and credibility. And, it also, like I said before, it gave me peace of mind with all of my investor base that I had built, that we had very experienced operators on our team for the first, 5-6 deals.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a huge piece, is just having the experience, and you can compound off their experience to buy larger deals. And then now you're the main sponsor on here, probably moving forward. And if you want to do a massive deal, you bring in those guys, and they're more than happy to join, because multifamily, you've got economies of scale. And if you've got the mastermind of everyone in the group, in the syndication or the general partnership, bringing that experience, it's the business succeeds. So with the economy, the market that we're in right now, the debt markets have changed, capital markets. How are you all underwriting your deals, and what are some conservative approaches that you all are taking?
Yeah, this has been probably one of the tougher parts as of late. There's no hiding the fact that interest rates have hiked a ton in the last 12 months. It's definitely changed the way we underwrite our deals. We're just taking a very conservative approach. And I know everybody says that, but we're taking an extra leap of being conservative right now. And the good thing for us in our business, we do have a unique problem we are local to Houston, Texas. And so we're very active in both Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston because we live here. And so we've built and nourished a lot of broker relationships. So we have off-market deals coming to us every single week. We've got more deal flow than we can really even handle. And so a lot of our concept is, hey, instead of saying no to a deal, let's partner up. Let's bring more people in and do more deals together. And so as far as, answering your question goes, with that deal flow, really we're focusing on being extra selective right now. If the numbers don't make sense, we're not forcing it at all. We're not fitting a square peg into a round hole. And so we're just trying to be very selective. And with the deal flow that we have, we can kind of pick those diamonds in the rough, if you will. But like I said, we're not forcing it at all. When we first started this business, especially out here in Texas, we were underwriting our insurance at $400 to $600 a unit. Things changed pretty quick. Then there was a big freeze in Texas, maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years or so. And that changed our underwriting. Things went up for insurance wise to, $1,000 to $1,200 a unit. And even with our deal right now that we have under contract and we're raising for, we wanted to be conservative once again. And in Texas and Florida, insurance is through the roof. And so to be even as more conservative as we can, we underwrote insurance for that deal at $2,400 a unit, $2,400. And so, and the numbers do, and they still make sense. And we're getting our quotes back for between 1,900 and 2,000. So now we have a big buffer there that benefits us as far as our business plan goes.
Do you think that cost is going to come down in the future, or is it there to stay?
I think it'll come down, but I don't know about how much, but I mean, we're hoping it does, because it's definitely been probably one of the number one deal killers as we're underwriting these deals. But you have to get tricky with it. You have to get strategic, and sometimes there's policies you can assume, sometimes there's not. Sometimes you can utilize some sort of umbrella policy, and so just have to get a little creative. And I think that's the fun of it for me, because I don't have the answers to everything, and I love waking up and having to search for those answers or find them, because every opportunity that I have where I don't know something, it presents an opportunity for me to go get better and more knowledge.
And put that into perspective, we just got a quote back on a property here in the Midwest, in Dayton, Ohio. We're at $189 per unit for insurance. So we are worlds apart, and it just goes to show it's just where you are in the country, and however the underwriters look at risk, I guess. And I guess the storms and of course they try to subsidize their cost off of other properties too, to make up for the losses. But man, that's huge.
It's big. It definitely has affected there's been deals we really, really wanted that get ruined by that, and some of our insurance quotes. So
absolutely. So your company, Gibby's Capital, what would you say sets your firm apart from other multifamily firms?
And it's really hard to speak on what sets us apart. There's a lot of great operators out there, and I always encourage people, even our own investors, as much as you want to protect them and keep them with you, if timing's not right or the deal's not right and they still need an investment opportunity, you better believe I'm still going to add value and point them in the direction of someone else that can take care of them. I always want to take care of them first, but if we don't have an opportunity that makes sense, then I 100% will refer to people that I know and trust. And so, but yeah, as far as where, Gibby's is, and can you repeat that? What was that question?
As far as Gibby's, because just as an operator, as a company, just what sets your all's company apart from the rest? There's always the hidden gem that don't necessarily get out there too much.
I think, and I also passively invest in all of our own deals and also other operators' deals as well. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, I really want to understand how other operators communicate with their investors, so I can take what I like or what I don't like and implement it in our own strategy. And there's operators that I've invested with where I'll shoot them a text or an email or phone call and I don't hear back for 2-3 weeks. And so for us, I would say number one is communication. Yeah. I am extremely responsive, usually within the hour, if not even quicker, to any investor, text, phone call, email. I think that's huge. Even if there's bad things going on or not the best news, like I still feel like investors deserve to be in the know. And so a lot of them will appreciate the transparency versus just, kind of blowing some smoke up, the behind there. But I think communication is huge. Timely distributions, timely K1s, timely monthly reporting and newsletters, and all of those things are really, really big. So I focus a ton on that. We've got a team of investor relations specialists that we've got 2 others plus myself. And so whether it's me that's getting back to them or someone on our team, we're always very timely about it. And the second factor I would tell you that makes us unique is that we're a family operation.
Nice.
I started this business by myself, but I realized really quick that there was way too many hats to wear, and I needed help if I wanted to do this and do it the right way. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and I've had a few other businesses, and in every business that I've had, every single one, I kid you not, I kept hitting this ceiling. We'd see success, but I couldn't ever break past this certain barrier.
Yeah.
And it was that barrier to get to the point where you can scale and take the business to the next level. And I always had to have my hand in every decision and everything. And that's exhausting and it's not sustainable. And so I was grateful to, expand and actually have a team that I could count on. And what I did is, it's actually funny. I didn't mean to bring my in-laws in as my business partners, but I was frying a turkey in November 2020. And I was just telling my wife's parents, and keep in mind, at the time, this was my girlfriend's parents. So we were not engaged. We were not engaged. Of course, we knew we were trending in that direction. But I was just frying a turkey and I was just telling them about my new business, and I was just excited about it. So I didn't mean to recruit them, if you will, but as I was explaining it to them, Brett and Megan, they were like, Eric, man, that sounds awesome. In fact, that sounds so awesome. We should be your partners. And wow. I was like, yeah, sure. So I was naturally, I was really, really hesitant. Yeah. And the reason why is, like, for me, family comes first. And as I mentioned before, some of you guys listening, these were unknown waters for me back then. And I didn't know if this was going to take off, if we were going to succeed. I didn't know anything about the business. I was just learning. And I didn't want anything to get in the way of our family and my relationship with their daughter. And so I was hesitant to bring them in. I made it very clear from the beginning that, our family comes first, but let's test the waters. And it actually turned out to be the biggest blessing in the world. So my partners' names are Brett and Megan Davenport. Now I am married to their daughter, so things worked out.
Very good.
Yeah. And so I brought my in-laws. It did. And now they know I can take care of their daughter and things are good moving forwards. But so I brought them in as my 2 partners on our company. And then since then have expanded. But I mentioned my parents earlier. So my parents sold all their assets in Oregon, and since then have redeployed a ton of capital into my deals as passive investors. But also my goal was to help retire them. So I retired them. They moved out to Houston, Texas, where I live right now. So it's the first time I get to live by my parents in 14 years, which is amazing. But then my dad, he got bored of retirement and he wanted in on the action. And so he did self-manage properties for 35 years. And I was like, you know what? If you're bored, we could totally put you to work on our asset management team. So now he helps out part-time with us on our asset management side of it.
That's huge. It's family absolutely is first. It's you hold down the fort, and to be able to have everyone kind of deployed into the business, it's that could be the driving force of growth too. Just on you've got your checks and balances, and everyone works in harmony. It works out great for everyone. That's I like hearing that. That's huge, and that's a differentiating factor of Gibby's Capital right there. That's what makes you all unique, and it might give you just the secret sauce for rapid expansion. Very cool. I wanted to touch on your book real quick. Your book, All In, it's a bestseller. What inspired you to write it, and what can readers expect to learn from it?
It is an incredible book. And I first off will preface it saying I can't take all the credit. I am just a co-author in that book, but I definitely recommend it because there are the other co-authors in it. I think there's 10 of them. So we each took a chapter, and it became a USA Today, Wall Street Journal, and Amazon bestseller. And it's just the whole concept of going all in. And it's really difficult. We talked about unknown waters before, but it's really difficult to just go all in with things. And so that book is just a compilation of some 7-figure earners, 7 and 8-figure earners, and how going all in has benefited their life, and just the feelings that they had and that we had when we did go all in with, whatever our endeavors were. And so it's not just a book of mine. I encourage people to read it because some of the other co-authors are incredible people, very successful entrepreneurs. And the concept of it was to, help people to realize that they're not alone in something new, and that going all in is worth it. And all of the most successful people that I know have had to have that, that moment in their life, right? That defining moment where they had to either choose to go all in, or choose to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or choose to go the opposite way. And it's not an easy decision. It's typically scary and uncomfortable. But personally, I believe that the most growth happens when we push ourselves out of our comfort zone. And so it's a great book. And, it was pretty cool, but there's a book called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
Yeah.
And, I've read it. I love it. He's a beast, man. Yeah. He's a beast. And it was pretty neat. In that week when it became the bestsellers, we saw our book jump past his, and I was just mind blown by that. It was pretty cool to see the traction and the interest in the book. So it caught us off guard with how much it did move, but we're grateful for it. So
absolutely. It's well, and it kind of having 10 different authors, 10 or so. I mean, it gives you different perspectives on different areas that everyone excels in too. So it's and I like the fact that you look at other companies and what they're doing and take away the good things of what they are doing and deploy them into your company, because that's important. Mimicking other successful companies and maybe workflows and things, it's important to take those away and give the customer the best service as possible. And there's no sense in going out there and trying to reinvent things when it's already been proven by someone else. So
100%.
Lastly, how can an individual interested in partnering with you or investing in Gibby's Capital connect with you or your team?
Yeah, absolutely. I am always open. We're at a point in our business where, we're obviously, busy doing deals, but I always carve out time to meet with potential investors or other operators. I would definitely recommend just going to our website, www.gibbyscapital.com. That's GIBBYS capital.com. From there, you can learn more about us, our team, our model, our entire structure. And then on there too, there's more info about, who we are and our contact information as well. So I think I have my calendar on there, so you can book a meeting on my calendar as well.
Perfect. All right, Eric, we definitely appreciate you coming on today, and definitely look forward to your journey and just seeing how far you all take it. It's huge. Everything you all are doing is awesome. So best of luck. We will certainly talk soon.
Cool. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate the time.